Hello, I'm Stephen Cooley and welcome to the Stephen Cooley Real Estate Show. I'm very excited to have back on the show today Gene Lucas with Hospitality Heating and Air Conditioning. And Gene is our heating and air expert on the show, always bringing us great information about our heating and cooling systems and all the latest things going on. So Gene, fall is in the air. I almost turned my heat on today, probably will tomorrow. So before I click it over to heat from air conditioning, tell me some things that I need to do, and let's talk about the fall and winter season with our cooling units and heating units.
One of the things this time of year, a lot of people, if you have air conditioning and you have gas heat or oil heat, that system's been off since probably March, so it has not ran at all. When you first turn that on, you want to have that inspected. Several things. The flue pipe's very important. Those can deteriorate, they can rust. We've seen people, especially around Thanksgiving and Christmas, they're going into attics, they're getting decorations, and they'll bump that flue pipe and not realize it. And we've gone out and seen instances where carbon monoxide detector has gone off, and with that, they're getting carbon monoxide poisoning. Got to be very careful this time of year. Have the heat exchanger. That's a big item with these furnaces. Let's
go back to the carbon monoxide in the home. We've seen some recent accidents and even deaths in our area from that. Tell our viewers just briefly what that is and why it's in our homes in the wintertime.
What happens when you have combustion, you have oxygen, you'll have some type of fuel, and that could be either propane, natural gas, oil, can be wood from a fireplace, and then you'll have ignition. Once you have that, you have all the elements for carbon monoxide, which is a byproduct of the ignition process. The heat exchanger is where all those gases are stored and they're emitted through the flue pipe. If that becomes cracked, rust a hole in it, those fumes then leak into the air. The way it works, the air actually passes over the heat exchanger, so when it cracks, it leaks out, mixes with the air.
And you can't smell or see this, is that correct?
No, it's completely it's odorless, tasteless, colorless. A lot of the symptoms are that of the flu. I had an incident several years ago where a lady went to her house. I was at home a few moments, had a headache, turned it on. She thought she was getting sick. She had 350 parts per million.
Wow.
At 400, you're within death at 4 hours.
And this is something, if you're just going to inspect your unit once a year instead of more times a year, having it inspected before you turn the heat on is the most important time, would you not say, due to this problem?
Yes, definitely, because again, it sits for so long, and condensation can build up in the heat exchanger during the summer.
Now, when we turn our heat on for the very first time, that odor we smell after it's been off for 8 or 9 months, that's not carbon monoxide.
No, that's actually more than likely dust on the heat exchanger, the coil, and then it burns off and you get that odor. That can actually set smoke detectors off. We've seen that before.
So you want to do that one day when you can leave the doors open for a few minutes and not wait till in the middle of the night when you need your heat to get that odor off, especially if it's going to set the alarms off.
Yeah, nothing's more alarming because when the temperature drops, and that's when the temperature in the home drops, and you're sleeping over in the morning and the fire alarm goes off. That's definitely do that before then.
Absolutely, and just being in the business, it's shocking how many times we have home inspections in sales and they find carbon monoxide dumping into a house. So this is something very important, which is why we wanted to bring it on today's show. Let's talk about carbon monoxide. So the first thing to do is get your your heat and air unit inspected before you turn on the heat. Let's talk about carbon monoxide detectors, the best kind, and where they should be in a house.
I like the Nighthawk by Kid.
Okay.
These plug in, they have a digital readout. So when you first plug it in, it's going to start at a number, maybe 50 or 60. It will count down to 0. You should never have carbon monoxide in the home.
Okay.
At 50 parts per million, it will sound an alarm. One of the things about these detectors, aerosols, hairspray, if you have teenage daughters or your wife, they can set those off.
Wow.
So I like to have it plugged in an outlet, because the ones that you can mount independently, if they're not in the right place where the manufacturer recommends you put those, it can actually not read.
So let's say I have a 3-story home. Where should they be?
One on each level.
Okay. Good.
That's the safest thing. That's what's recommended.
Okay, good. So fall season's here, winter's on its way. Before you turn on that unit, you want to have it inspected to make sure that it's working correctly, it's in the best condition, and also that you don't have a cracked heat exchanger or a flute that's been hit in the attic and now dumping that carbon monoxide inside your house. Again, it has no smell, no odor, and unless you have a detector or have you out there, there's no way to know that it's in the house. So please do that as the fall season comes. Gene, I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to have you out to their home to check this. Can we tell folks how to reach you?
Yes, you can call our office at 980-4677.
Great information. Gene Lucas with Hospitality Heating and Air Conditioning. Thanks so much for being our expert on the show. We've got beautiful homes for sale in your area. Please stay tuned and we'll be right back. I hope you've enjoyed watching the Stephen Cooley Real Estate Show. If you're interested in advertising your business on the program, please give us a call at 803-326-2777 or send us an email at ask@makeitlocal.com. Join us next week for more discussions on real estate topics and help in finding your perfect home. Thanks for watching.